Welcome back, everyone, to the Darksyde of Machinima long-form React event. In this event, I am recapping all my stories of the 6+ years that I was a Machinima partner back in the day on YouTube. Part 1 covered my early interactions with Machinima before I ever was a partner, then my early days as a partner, the ridiculous lucrative contracts that they used to offer, some of the ins and outs of being a Machinima partner, some of the things they forced upon you, which I didn't really appreciate, but I had to do, and a few other stories. Give a look to that part 1. Let me know what you think. But now we're heading into part 2. And this one, I think, is probably going to be the part that most people are going to want to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to do the story of my trip to E3 2012 and how it came about. Because back when I was a YouTuber, I didn't take things so seriously. I never thought anyone would want to fly me out anywhere. You know, E3 was kind of like a pipe dream for me. I didn't really give a shit about it. But then an opportunity kind of fell into my lap. Allow me to show you what I mean. Because it was in mid-2012, well, a little before mid-2012, when an opportunity arose. And as you can see here, I was offered an opportunity from one of my contacts at Machinima in May of 2012, all right, to basically be set up to be a part of a Hawken promotional event at E3. Hawken, what the hell is Hawken? Well, Hawken is what's on my back right now. See that? Hawken was a free-to-play mech combat game that was going to be released for PC, and eventually they were planning on consoles, but originally it was just going to be a PC release, and it was going to be monetized via many different things like microtransactions and things like that. But Machinima was basically kind of partnered with this company that was going to be promoting the game to basically make a giant promotion to push the game to Machinima viewers starting at E3. All right? So what ended up happening was I was contacted, as you can see here, by one of my guys at Machinima saying, hey, what we would like to do is to fly you out to E3. You're going to be part of a VIP experience. You're going to meet the game devs. You're going to play the game for the first time before anyone else can play it, right? Then you're going to be able to promote it, and if you promote this game on your channels, you can make upwards of thousands of dollars. He even says right here, 5,800 smackaroo bonus if you promote this game. All right? Great. Exciting, right? Sounds good to me. Let's talk details, all right? And so I began in talks with Machinima about my trip to E3, all right? And here's the deal. So basically, the way our talks went were as follows. Machinima wanted to fly me to E3 for free. Machinima wanted to pay for my hotel. Machinima wanted to pay for my entry to E3, you know, the pass or whatever to get in. And I'm trying to remember what else it was. It wasn't a fully paid trip. I think there were a couple of things I still had to pay for, like gas, food, all that other stuff. That was on me, all right? But basically, any of the incredibly expensive transportation costs covered. My way into E3, completely covered. All I needed to do was play the game, make some footage of the game, promote the game, attend some party that they were going to have in relation to the game, all right? And then a few other very small criteria, all right? And so I'm involved in this thing. They wrote me into it. And basically what they say is, here's the reason you want to do this promotion for this Hawken game. Because once you get home from E3, we're going to give you the details on when basically this promotion will start on YouTube, and you're going to be able to make videos of this game later on, and the videos you make, the views they bring in, and if they get people to sign up for the free-to-play game, you're going to make big money, upwards of $5,800 for your time, all right? Now, that's pretty good. Hey, if I just got to play the game a couple of times, say, hey guys, click the link in the video if you're interested in playing this game, and if people register with my referral link and I make good money on it, why wouldn't I do this, right? So, okay, I want to go to E3. I don't really care about this Hawken game, I'll be honest. I really don't give two shits about it. But if I play it and it's not bad, and I promote it, I make some money, this is a win-win for everyone, all right? However, at the time, I absolutely positively wanted John Rambo to go to E3 with me, okay? He is someone who, at that point in my life, had been my friend for many years. He had been a Street Fighter companion and fellow fighter and trainee. Like, we trained up in Street Fighter together. and traveled the country playing competitive Street Fighter. Then on YouTube, we were making content every week. I wanted John to be there at E3 with me, all right? Now, we basically had to bullshit Machinima, all right? I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell you the true story now. This was bullshit. We wanted to make up a story with Machinima, all right, to get a reason for him to come with me. Now, at the time, I had a very bad back injury. And, you know, it's still true. Like, I'm still right now. I still had that back injury. It's just that over time, it got much better. But back then, my back injury was pretty bad. I was a little overweight, way heavier than I am now. And if I was on my feet or carrying heavy things for an extended period of time, I would have pain. I would have shooting pain, numbness in my back. At the point, I actually had a back stretcher device at my house where I would try to decompress my back to basically alleviate the pain. Now, here's the deal. Could I have gone to E3 myself, driven myself around, done everything myself? Probably yes. Would it have been stressful? Abso-freaking-lutely. For me, I mean, with my back, I actually hadn't driven on the highway for 5 years at that point. I'm serious. Like in 2007, when my back injury was first diagnosed, I was driving on the highway and I got spasms in my back. I had a panic attack on the highway. I pulled over, almost passed out. And since then, I've never driven on the highway. I'm serious. Like, I just haven't ever driven on the highway since 2007. Luckily, I haven't needed to. All right? It hasn't really been a reason. But if I'm going to be in LA for E3, I'm going to have to drive around in crazy traffic and everything, you know? And, wow, someone just said laughing my ass off. Yeah, well, I'm laughing my ass off because I'm banning your fucking ass. You think that's funny? You think it's funny that someone has a debilitating back injury causing them back spasms and pain, they lose control of the car, have a panic attack. You think that's funny? Well, that was hilarious. You're banned for life, fuckface. Let's continue. So anyway, I knew that kind of getting around LA by myself, I could do it, but I probably wouldn't take the highway, meaning I was going to have to drive on side roads and everything. It was going to be a nightmare to drive around. So at the time, again, I was doing weekly co-op with John Rambo, and I said to John, would you like to go to E3? And he's like, of course I would like to go to E3, but how would we make that happen? And I said, well, they're already sending me. So if they're sending me, right, if that's the case, why not spin it that you're my cameraman? And you got to be with me because I got a back injury, and for me to carry around heavy stuff and to be filming and to be driving, it's going to be too much of a, you know, a freaking risk or a liability. And that if you came with me, right, that then everything would be fine. And he's like, well, I don't know. I would love to do it, but if you can figure it out. So I schmoozed Machinima a bit. I said, listen, he's my buddy. He's the guy I do gameplay with every week. I really would love to have him there with me. He would help the trip amazingly if he could drive around and film and everything. So they said yes, but I got to pay for his whole way. So I had to pay for the hotel for him. Of course, they were already paying for the hotel for one of us. So really, that was not a big deal. But I had to pay for his plane ticket. Obviously, I had to pay for his food and everything, the whole trip. Everything was I had to pay for. While some things were covered under Machinima, I had to pay for everything else. Okay? But they got him an E3 badge. All right? And so, as we're getting into weeks leading up to E3, all this stuff starts to reveal itself. All right? And in fact, to show you here, which one of these is the, oh, here it is. This is the itinerary. So this is the itinerary that I was presented for all the things going on during E3, some of which I had to do and some of which I did not have to do. All right? Now, we're going to go over this in a second. But before we get to that, in the meantime, so I've already signed up for this thing. I've already got Machinima's buy-in, all right, that they're going to fly myself and Rambo. I'm paying for Rambo's ticket, but we're going to fly out there. They're going to get our passes. They're paying my way for E3. I'm going to do all this Hawken promotion for them. I'm going to go and play the game. I'm going to film the game. I'm going to go to this party. I'm going to do all this promotion for them, and that's why I'm getting into E3, okay? All of a sudden, I mean, this is like a week later, no exaggeration. We plan all this out. Everything's hashed out. Everything's good to go. We're starting our plans. I get another email from Machinima, and it says, here's your chance to attend E3 2012. And when you read the email, essentially what it says is, oh, so we're just trying to get as many of our partners into E3 as we can. Are you interested? Because if you're interested, give us your name and we'll likely get you a pass. So I read this email and I'm like, wait a minute. Right? So you're telling me that they probably would have, they probably would have been able to get me into E3 even if I didn't do any of the Hawken promotion, right? They probably would have got me a pass anyway. Now, would they have given me a free hotel? Probably not. Would they have paid for my plane ticket? Really doubtful. But my whole point was I wanted to get into E3. That was my big thing. And Machinima was my way in. Back then, you couldn't just pay for your own pass. It was not a public event back then. E3 was press only. So for me to get into E3 was a big thing, and the Hawken event was how I was going to get in. Within 1 week of signing up and agreeing to the Hawken event and agreeing to let them get John Rambo into E3, I get another email saying, oh yeah, we could have gotten you into E3 anyway by other means. You didn't need to do the Hawken event. And I was just like, fuck. Because I didn't care about Hawken. I didn't care about the money to promote Hawken at all. None of this was important to me. I just wanted to get into E3. So here I am, actively working to get into E3 and everything, and then come to find out I could have done it anyway without any of this Hawken bullshit. Okay? So that was pretty frustrating. Alright? And by the way, we have more trolls in the chat being stupid. I'm just going to ban them all right now. I really am, because I had enough. So please bear with me for 1 second. Here we go. Get rid of this one. And let's see who else. Where's the other troll? I guess I missed the other one right now. Anyway, I got one of them. Anyway, let's continue now, okay? So, finally we start getting sent all the information of what we need to do at E3, okay? So, what we're told is that we absolutely have to attend this lunch on day 1 of E3. And during this lunch, we're going to meet the game devs. We're going to talk about the game. They're going to talk about good ways to promote the game on our channels. Then we're going to get a hands-on with those game devs, right? We're going to play the game for the very first time. And we're going to be able to make footage of the game, which they want us to do. It's like mandatory. You make footage of the game, you put it on your channel, okay? Then they want us to come back later in the day for what they're calling a VIP party with a DJ. All right? And essentially what that's going to be is some like hors d'oeuvres and stuff, finger foods, but booze, and this DJ playing music and schmoozing with other YouTube partners that are there. Essentially, it's supposed to be like a networking event. Okay? That's what it's supposed to be. Okay? So that's all you can see there. That's the Tuesday, right? Tuesday, that's all the events they want us to attend. You see that? Hawken party with, what's his name? DJ P Pants or whatever his name was. I don't even remember. Okay. So then, all right, the next day, or the next 2 days, essentially, all they want us to do, all right, is basically do a vlog. One vlog from like the floor of E3. That's all that was required from us. Okay, that's it. That's literally all that was required from us. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not a big deal, right? That's not a big deal at all, actually. That's what I was planning on doing. I'm going to E3 to cover the event. Why wouldn't I do a vlog from the floor? So the only thing I got to do is this one day, we got to go, we got to have our lunch, we got to meet the devs, we got to play the game, do a video, and then we got to go to this rooftop party with a DJ and booze it up, I guess. And then we've got to go to E3 for the next 2 days, all right? Great. Sounds like a plan, all right? And so, you know, I don't exactly remember the order of events of how everything went down, because I'm trying to remember exactly when we got like our badges and stuff, and I don't really remember that. So basically, here's what happened, okay? Because this is where the shit show started, all right? So we arrive in LA, and we get all our stuff like we're supposed to, and we quickly find out that the traffic in LA is absolutely insane everywhere. All right. Now, probably we should have known that. It's a major metropolitan city in the United States. But essentially, to get like down the street takes you 20 minutes in LA. All right. Our hotel was not near the airport. Or excuse me, our hotel was not near the convention center that E3 was at, nor this hotel where they were having this stuff with Hawken. That hotel that I said there with Hawken was actually right down the street there. Okay. It was right down the street from E3, but our hotel was like really far away. So we had to drive quite a bit, like over an hour, to kind of get to the convention center from where we were, not because of the distance, because of the traffic. The traffic was just insane in LA. All right. So this day that we're supposed to go, we drive and it takes us a ridiculously long time to get to the hotel. All right. Funny enough, we show up and we're on time. All right. Everyone else is late. I'm not kidding. Like, every other YouTuber who was signed up for this event was late. They all showed up, like, way late, okay? They're just walking in casually, like it's not a big deal that they're late. So John and I are sitting there. We're eating our lunch with the game devs and everything. And the Machinima guys are like, where is everyone else? So they start making phone calls or whatever to figure out where is everyone, right? So essentially, immediately, day one, it's already a mess. No one's showing up. No one's living up to the obligations that they were supposed to do. Just me and John, basically, were the ones who were there right away. Okay? So eventually, people start showing up within like hour and a half late for this lunch. And some people ate, some people didn't. And they were like, well, I guess the whole idea of us sitting down and talking about this game, at this lunch is out. But let's play the game now. So they had a whole room set up with all these land computers. And we sat down to play the game. And we started playing the game with each other. And some people apparently already either knew how to play it or had knowledge of the game previously, because I didn't know anything about the game previous. I didn't play it, but some of the people were like really good, and they were like playing really well and kicking ass. I was like, wow, they must have already played it or whatever, because I didn't know anything about this Hawken, game or whatever. And so, we played it for a little bit. I liked it, by the way. I thought the game was all right. It was passable. It wasn't a bad game. The controls were responsive. The graphics were pretty good. And John was recording the room and recorded the footage of me playing the game. So we had footage of the game. That's what we needed. That was per our agreement. Okay? So after essentially, and by the way, who was there? Like, Woody's gamer tag was there. He's the only one that rings a bell. There was like maybe 15 YouTubers there, including me. But I don't remember who the other ones were. Like, I don't remember any notable names. Like, there was no PewDiePie there or anything like that. It was like Woody's gamer tag and a few other people. Okay? And so, basically, we had to leave because they wanted you to leave and come back for this rooftop party. Now, in the meantime, I kind of find out, John tells me, he goes, so just so you know, I'm a straight edge guy. I don't drink. And I was like, oh, you don't drink at all? He's like, no, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I'm a straight edge guy. So, I'll come to the party with you, but I'm not going to be drinking or anything. I'm just going to be kind of standing around. Everyone else will probably be like schmoozing or drinking, but I'm not going to do that. And so it took us, no exaggeration, like over another hour for us to drive from this fucking hotel back to our hotel. And now they expected us to do that drive again for this really, really stupid rooftop thing. All right? And I was like, what the hell? They really want us to drive 10 times back and forth across fucking LA to do this stupid thing? So, John and I sat down, we were, as mature adults in the hotel, and we're like, let's really think about this honestly, all right? If we go to this party, it's going to be a bunch of YouTubers. They were late to the launch. They're going to be late to the rooftop party. You know what's going to happen? They're going to drink. They're going to act a fool. They're going to be a bunch of idiots, right? They're not going to be acting like normal people. They're probably going to be fucking drinking and dancing and fucking smoking up and doing dumb shit, right? And that's what it's all about. That this rooftop party was not for promotion of the game. This was just supposed to be like for fun, and they're probably gonna take some video and throw it up. Oh, look, here we are, Machinima party for Hawken and shit, right? So John and I talked about it, and we were like, you know what? We're not going back. We're not. This is stupid. Like, we're gonna drive another hour and a half to get back to that hotel, to stand there for 20 minutes, have a drink, be like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Listen to some shitty DJ, and just drive all the fucking way back again. So John and I essentially said, well, we're not doing it, all right? So I'll be honest. Yeah, I kind of schmoozed up again Machinima, all right? And, let me see here. I'm trying to find the right emails because I'm trying to find the order of emails here. This is the one after E3. I don't think I have an email that happened during E3. But I do have this one. Okay. So let me tell you the rest of the E3 story, all right? So basically what happened was, we didn't go to this rooftop party, All right? I emailed my contacts and I was like, listen, we thought that the trains were going to be running and we'd be able to take a train or whatever, but we had already sat in this car an hour and a half to the hotel, an hour and a half fucking back to our hotel. There's no way we're doing this again because of my back. My back's all fucked up. So I took the blame for it, basically. I was like, because of my back, there's no way that we're going to drive back and forth a million times, you know? If it was closer, we would have done it, but what are you going to do? So what we had to do is that we had to meet up with our contact at E3 to get our passes the next day, all right, so we could actually get into E3, all right? So what's funny is, now, to explain to you, because I forgot something. Basically, when we were going to this event for Hawken, it was very disorganized. And what I mean by that is, like I said, the YouTubers weren't showing up on time. No one seemed to be in charge of it. Everything was just kind of happening. Oh, if you're there and you want to play the game, it's in that room, go play it. Or if you just want to sit here and get some food, do it. Ah, you're late, who cares? It was very disorganized, and again, nothing professional. The people who were there were young as shit. Like, I'm not kidding you, like, some of the people who were there working for Machinima were probably in their early 20s. And to them, this was like a silly fuck around job, right? Like, this wasn't something ultra serious or whatever. They were getting tossed a bunch of money to go to E3 and schmooze and drink and stuff. The YouTubers certainly weren't taking it seriously. They weren't even showing up on time. So the whole thing just reeked of unprofessionalism and just kind of out of control, you know, situation. Exactly, like a bunch of kindergartners. You're right. That's pretty much what it was. John and I are here to seriously cover E3. Like, our intention for the whole thing, yeah, the Hawken thing's going on, and we need to do that because that's part of the requirement of our agreement, but we're supposed to be covering E3. Like, that's what we're here for, serious business, right? So, the next day, outside of the front of the convention center, we meet up with a woman, younger woman, probably early 20s. I don't even know her name or whatever, I don't remember. But I specifically remember, we meet this woman, and she goes, so, you weren't at the party last night, but I just want to let you know, I'm your chaperone. And I said, you're my what? Oh, I'm your chaperone. So I'm the person responsible for you at E3. And I said, what? Yeah. So basically, anything you need, you come to me. You ask me, here's my number. So I got, you know, phone number, contact information. You put it through any questions you have, any concerns you have, anything you need, you come to me. If you get in trouble, you call me. I'm the one. And I will, if you need any help, you need to show you around, you need to know where to get stuff, you need to know where to do. That's my job. I was 30 years old. I'm here with my friend. We're here to cover E3. I got a fucking chaperone. Like I'm on a field trip in high school or elementary school. And she's talking to me like I'm a dunce. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to do basic things for myself, right? The way she was talking, it almost felt to me like they were expecting to get a bunch of really dumb, immature kid YouTubers to show up for this event that weren't even going to understand things or that were just like troublemakers and they were going to get themselves into trouble. And if they got into trouble, they had to call this woman was for me specifically, but I guess each YouTuber had their own like assigned chaperone that they needed to contact for issues, right? So I was like, all right, whatever, just give me your information. So give me your information. I was like, so are these our badges? Yes. Okay. So how do we use them or whatever? She's like, oh, they're just badges. You just, you know, when E3 opens, you go up to the door and you show them your badge and they'll let you in. That's it. That's all I need to know. That's all you need to know. Okay. Fine. Good. Thanks. Good to know. And that was it. And I said, just so you know, you're never going to hear from me all weekend. I don't need anything. I'm an adult. I'm here with my adult friend. We're here to cover E3 seriously. I'm the least of your concerns. If everyone else here burns down the building or fucking gets high and gets arrested, deal with them. They're going to need you. You're never going to hear from me ever again. Have a nice life. And that's basically, I walked away, never saw her again. Okay? That's what's ridiculous I've ever heard. A chaperone. Oh, by the way, they gave me this hoodie as well. See this hoodie I'm wearing? The Hawken hoodie? This is where I got at E3. They handed me this along with my, the promo materials for Hawken when I played the game at the hotel. All right? And by the way, this right now is the first time in a decade I've ever worn this hoodie. Literally never wore it before. This is the first time ever that I've worn this thing. Okay? So, Yeah, here I thought today would be age appropriate. 11 years later, wear the Hawken hoodie as I'm telling the story about Hawken at E3. Okay, why keep it? Because it's nostalgia, man. Because it's a little piece of memorabilia to have, so I could tell this story one day on a stream, and now I'm doing it. That's literally why. Okay. So anyway, so John and I, we're at E3, and there's a big line to get in. All right. And we have to wait in line to get in with our passes or whatever. We go into E3, and, if you want to see our E3 coverage, there's tons of it. We covered E3 2012 very, very extensively. Tons of gameplay. I've already gave my opinion on going to E3 that I felt like, sadly, was there some stuff that was neat to see in person? Yes. But, man, you learn more about the games by watching the press conferences or just looking at videos online than actually being there in person. Because half the time you're waiting in a line. By the time you get to play the game, you get 5 minutes with the game, then you're ushered away. So I waited an hour to play for 5 minutes. I didn't learn shit, right? It's like, what kind of an event is this, right? It was nice, though. We got on TV. We were on, what was it that we were on? Was it Attack of the Show? One of the shows we were on. I can't remember what it was. But we were in the background, like when Morgan Webb was talking for one segment. And then we were on, when they were doing the presentation for the original Watch Dogs 1, we were actually in the room when they decided to kind of interrupt our presentation and award the makers of Watch Dogs 1 a Best New Game of E3 award and stuff like that. So, it was interesting, to say the least. And, a lot of footage. It's nice to say I did it. I don't really think I got much out of it, but it was nice to say that I had at least done it. It was something I had under my belt at the time when I was a prominent YouTuber. Okay? And so, I did send an email to basically bullshit my way out of the reasoning why I didn't go to the party, the Hawken party. And here you say, we're waiting on our return flight to New York. We had a blast at E3. Thanks so much for allowing us to attend. Yeah, I know you've been busy. I'd like to find out the situation with April's invoices and revenue share results. So, this was an ongoing thing with me and Machinima. I needed to pay John Rambo. And I didn't know what to pay him until they told me how much money we made on the videos. But there was no way to tell how much money we made on the videos. I needed the invoices and things. And they wouldn't send them in a timely manner. So sometimes I had to guess and then later on be corrected. It was annoying. But anyway, that's why that was in that email, okay? So here's the funny part about all of that, all right? Take a look at this. You ready for this? So my Machinima contact, or one of them, gets back into the office after E3. And he writes me this email. He goes, "My main man, Phil, how in the world did you manage to do 90 plus E3 videos? You, sir, are a machine. I wanted to personally reach out to you and thank you for the outstanding effort and professional production. You're such an awesome partner, and we couldn't be more appreciative of the coverage that you brought to the event. Thank you for using the tag E3 in all of your videos as well." So, basically, we're in a situation where I was wondering, like, why on earth would this be a big deal, right? Why would this be a big deal? Come to find out, the vast majority of people who were there under Machinima barely put out any footage whatsoever. Basically, you know what they did? They used it as like a free vacation trip. They literally did. They needed the chaperone. It was a party for them. They were in LA, so they were drinking, they were fucking smoking, they were partying. I think one of them never even made it to the floor of E3. Literally never even went. Okay? So it was their paid trip to go to LA and do whatever they wanted. I was the person who went there and took it seriously, and I put out 90 plus videos. This guy's freaking out. Oh my God, I can't believe you did so much gameplay, and it made them look good. So basically what happened, they went back and they said, well, how was our trip? Well, yeah, we got some Hawken promotion, but take a look. One of our partners did 90 videos and made Machinima look incredibly good because now we have all of this cool coverage of E3 under our umbrella, under our network, right? Now, on top of the, I would say, sad unprofessionalism and a little disorganization and silliness of E3, the thing that kind of really pissed me off the most about it was something that happened to E3, and I think I've told you guys this story before, but I want to reiterate how angry I was when something was discovered, okay? So as you remember, I told you this story. We met our chaperone who handed us our badges. And at the time, we said, is there anything we need to know? Is there anything we need to do? No, you just use these to get in. So every day when you're trying to get into E3, there's a big-ass line. You're standing in line for like 45 minutes to finally show your badge and be able to get in. right? So it's the final day of E3, and John and I actually still have a bunch of stuff we wanted to see, and we didn't get to see it because the lines had been so long, the whole event. And it's the last day, and we notice that some other people who have the same color badges as us are going into a different line, showing their badges, and the E3 staff are letting them in. They're not waiting in the giant wait till 10 a.m. and then wait another 45 minutes line to get in. They're just getting right in. Okay? I'm like, John noticed it, not me. I'll say this. John did notice it. He pointed, he said, what is that line over there? And I said, I have no idea what that line is over there. I don't know why there's a separate line to get into E3. That's a little weird. And John said, did you notice their badges look just like ours? I said, no, I didn't. All right, so what are you proposing? He's like, why don't we just go try to get in? Okay. So we walked over to this different line. We showed them our badges. The guy goes, yup, go ahead. And they let us right in. We didn't know it, but Machinima gave us vendor badges. What vendor badges are, they're very different from attendee badges. And attendee badges, you're just a line level person going in to cover E3 from a journalism perspective. So you're going to, look at the exhibits, you're going to make videos, you're going to do interviews, but you're only doing it from a journalistic perspective. If you're a vendor, you're there to actually have an event in there. So Machinima had their own booth and had their own thing going on, and we had their badges. So at any time during E3, we could have been getting in early, and we could have seen all the games we wanted to see when there was no one else there. Because that last day we did, I want to say it was like 9:30 a.m. And we got in and there was no one there. So we went and we saw Tekken. I don't even know what Tekken Tag Tournament 2. We saw Tekken Tag Tournament 2. We saw more Hitman Absolution, which we had wanted to see, but we were ushered away the day before. We got to play more of that. We got to basically go through and we got to play like 5-6 games that we had not been able to play or film previously because there was lines. And we're like, wait a minute. So you're telling me the entire time we were at E3, we had badges that allowed us to get in early, and we could have done the best coverage of E3 possible because we had unprecedented, unlimited access to everything with no one else around. But the fucking people at Machinima never told us. They never bothered to tell us that we had vendor badges. So on 2 days, we're standing in line like assholes. We're not getting in until like 2 hours after the place opens, and then we're standing in lines. It's a miserable experience. We could have easily had the best footage and everything. It would have been the best experience. But that's what I mean. Like, the whole thing reeked of unprofessionalism. We get there, no one's there on time, right? Show up. You have to come to our rooftop drunken party with a bunch of YouTubers. Why do I need to do that? What does it have to do with anything? You hand me my badge. You don't even tell me what my badge is. You don't even tell me what abilities I have when I'm there, right? The whole thing was just like, figure it out for yourself and fuck it if anything actually of good gets done. And that was kind of, I hate to say it, that was just kind of their own thing. Like, that was how they ran stuff. And that was not just one case, but that's kind of like the entire time that I was a partner with Machinima, that's exactly how they ran everything. Well, we should be professional, but half the time we tell you half information. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't really know what you're supposed to be doing. You don't know what's important and what's not. At any moment's notice, something can change. And, oh well, just figure it out for yourself. And that, that's what I mean. Like, that was a trip where we had actually known everything that was going on. You know what I'm saying? From the beginning. This would have been much a better experience. But instead, it was like a stressful chore. Because they weren't very professional at all with the way that they handled it. And, I mean, thank God we didn't go to that stupid party. What another waste of time. That another 2-3 hours of driving to fucking go to a rooftop party with a fucking DJ. Like, what stupid shit is that? So I'm glad we didn't go, But in reality, is it nice to say that, yes, I did go to E3 at one point in my career? Yeah, it's nice. I mean, now E3 doesn't even exist anymore. So yeah, there might have been some feelings of remorse or I missed the boat if I didn't go when I went. Because now you would have said, well, now it doesn't even happen. It's now a remnant of history, right? It's like something that happened and it's now, a footnote in what gaming used to be. So I guess it's nice that at least I got to go at least once. But at the same time, man, what a waste of time it really was. You know what I mean? It really was. It was just, I could have covered it just as effectively by sitting at home. I know I could have. So it's kind of disappointing in that regard, okay? So that's pretty much the E3 story. Now, there is a follow-up to the E3 story, okay? Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Let's see. I'm trying to find the specific emails to outline what's going on. Yeah. So basically, I mean, there's a bunch of bitchy emails I sent them. They're pretty bitchy, I'm not gonna lie. But basically, here's what happened, okay? I'll show you the first one. If you want to see the rest of the bitchy emails, you let me know. But here's what happened. So, the whole reason that they sent me to E3 was to cover this Hawken game, right? That was the whole fucking reason that we went, okay? Here's what ends up happening. There's supposed to be an alpha for Hawken, and if we covered the game during that time period, we were supposed to be paying for that content, and it was part of the agreement. Remember we said we were going to make like $5,800? So the alpha gets canceled outright. After people already made time. I made time in my schedule to play the alpha. The alpha completely gets canceled. So the alpha doesn't happen. And then later on, see, this is the first of 3 emails. I'm not going to bother you showing all 3 bitchy emails. But basically what ended up happening was, then they said they were going to do a beta. And then the beta got delayed, so the beta didn't happen. And they said, only time you can play Hawken is 2 days. And it was right in the middle of the busy gaming season, like the hardcore gaming season. I was in the middle of juggling a bunch of new releases and things. I was doing co-op, like Borderlands 2 here. I was doing co-op with John Rambo at the time. So every time that basically something Hawken came up, I would make time to play it because they said, this is per your agreement. You play the game, you'll make money. And then they would cancel it. It happened twice in a row. It was first the alpha, then the beta, both getting pushed and canceled. So at this point, I'm like, I don't even care about this fucking game anymore. I really don't. This is ridiculous. So then they said, in order to do it, you had to basically play during these 2 specific days. Here, you want to see the next bitchy email? Because someone just said, can I see the next bitchy email? Here's the next bitchy email. Here you go. Now you're telling me the open beta is delayed. I'll be unable to play Hawken for an entire week if I don't do so today or tomorrow. Now I have to completely change my filming plans for tonight to make vids. It's starting a huge co-op at Resident Evil 6. I won't be able to interrupt that. So basically, I kept bitching to them. And I was like, the whole point of you sending me out to E3 is this Hawken game. But this game's a shit show. The alpha's canceled. The beta's delayed. You're telling me I only have 2 days I can ever play it. So here's what ended up happening. Listen to this. I'm almost positive, don't 100% take my word for it. I think it was Woody's gamer tag, but it might not have been. I think it was actually the Airy Lord told me this. He goes, so basically, none of the Machinima partners ended up playing the game, except one. One Machinima partner cleared his whole schedule and played Hawken like a whole weekend. And because of that, he did 100% of the promotion, and he made the entire like $5,000 himself. Now, I heard it was Woody's gamer tag, but that was hearsay. It might not have been. But just think of that. They flew like 15, 20 people out to E3, right? To cover this game, to promote it. Only one person ended up doing it, and they ended up paying that person the entire promotional budget because the fucking launch got fucked so bad, no one cared about it anymore. And by the way, when the game came out, it flopped huge. No one played it. No one cared about it. It was played with technical issues. And eventually, it just kept getting pushed back. It was always like, we're releasing it in open beta. We're releasing it in an alpha state. They never had like a final state. Eventually, years later, they retooled the game and tried to release it as a free-to-play game on consoles, and it failed then too. I'm pretty sure the game is dead now. So, seriously, a ridiculously long, expensive campaign, flying all those people out to E3 for what? For a game that was dead on arrival. A game that couldn't even get its shit together and release an alpha or a beta appropriately. A game that never had a full final release. It was a waste of everybody's time, right? And one person, because they decided to clear their whole schedule, made $5,000 on the game, and no one else involved made any money whatsoever. So essentially, the entire promotion was a waste of everyone's time, just like this hoodie is a waste of time and a waste, you know what I mean? Like, the whole thing was just stupid as shit, right? Unbelievable, right? So, there you go. That's the E3 story. Now, a year later, I wanted to go back to E3. And here's where you're going to start to see a big change in attitude and a change in shift when it comes to Machinima. So essentially, next year, 2013, okay, I'm still working with Machinima. I'm still a partner of theirs. I'm still considered one of the people who they want for stuff. And I want to do some interesting different things, okay? Here it is. Here it is. Oh, yeah, here it is. This is interesting. So, it's 2013, and everything's still fine with Machinima, right? There's no problems or anything. But what ends up happening is YouTube makes a change to the algorithm. And the algorithm change that they made in early 2013 was that videos are now popular based on engagement rather than on viral popularity or views. So for example, if you have a video that's 30 minutes long and a lot of people watch it, that video gets priority over a 5-minute long video that a lot of people watch some of, but not the whole video. And it didn't really make much sense for someone like me who was only putting out 10-minute long videos. It killed me. Like, my engagement and my viewership and all of that plummeted because they made this algorithm change. So this affected Machinima in a big way. Machinima was basically getting all the videos in their network having less attention, less views, and they were making way less money on them. So Machinima started to change their attitudes and start to panic a little bit, and people who at one point were treated prominently started to be treated worse, and I was one of them, okay? So I'll give you an example, but first there's a tip to shout out here. Hold on. So Sir Oink, tip $2. Says, I'm glad you helped your bud come through with you. Shit like that is not something you would want to go solo. Sounds like they threw a bunch of shit together and put a bunch of people they had under their contract in there just to see what would happen. I'm surprised they didn't have you guys under one hotel making sure shit was in order. Anyways, have a good weekend, brother. I'll be here. Yeah, they didn't. That was true. It was weird as shit because not all the YouTubers were staying in the same hotel. We were like in one place and YouTubers were like all over the place. That's absolutely true. I don't know if it's because of the way that they booked rooms or whatever, but it was very weird because we were under that impression that maybe we could carpool. No, we all had to be driving from different directions and stuff to get to the event. It was very odd the way that it was done. I agree with you there. Like I said, it reeked of confusion and unprofessionalism the entire time that we were there. But here I am having to grin and bear it and be happy. Oh, I'm so happy, when actually the thing is very chaotic and, you know, annoying and stressful. And it could have been a lot better if they just kind of had their shit together a little more. Okay? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's 2013. I have launched a series or a show. It's called Project 7. All right? And Project 7 is a show I'm doing with my friends, with John, with our friend Howard, with Howard's relatives and friends, Respect the Pack. And it's a silly, absolutely ridiculous series. It's us messing around with games and game tropes and memes and jokes. It's got horrendous acting. All right? But what it's got is a good soundtrack because I actually got some sponsored tracks from bands, like game cover bands, who did the soundtrack for the show. They let us use their music. And great cinematography because these guys, Respect the Pact, were amateur filmmakers who were actually quite good at what they did. So the show looked good, sounded good, and was acted horribly. But for what it was at the time, I thought it was quite funny. I mean, there's a lot of other guys that were doing similar shows at the time that were just as bad, but somehow they got a pass while we got shat on, okay? But anyway, Project 7, I was releasing episodes, and each episode was getting hundreds of thousands of views on my own channels. So at the time, I was in good rapport with Machinima. And all the time when we were making Project 7, I was contacting Machinima and telling them about the show, and they were very interested. They were like, yes, we absolutely would like to do Project 7 on our channels. Because there's some way, we know you want to do it on your channel, but can you also upload it to Machinima? To which I was like, yeah, absolutely. We'll release our episodes starting in early 2013 or whatever. And I'd be down for that. Why not? Why not have a situation where I have it on my channel, but you could have it on your channel. Maybe have some cross promotion. If it gets popular, that's good. It'll bring more attention to the series. If we start making good money on it, we could make more episodes or whatever. Okay? So I start talking to Machinima. They're gung-ho. All of a sudden, they stop talking to me about it. They stop responding to me about it. So now we've released maybe like 2 or 3 episodes, and it's the summertime, and we're working on episode 4. Okay? And I keep asking Machinima about it, and finally I get a response in the summer. All right. And the response in the summer is basically, oh, so, yeah, we finally sat down and talked about it. And we decided that Project 7 is not a good fit for Machinima. Maybe we'd like to put it on our sister channel, Respawn, but it's not a good fit for Machinima's main channel. Alright? Now, I don't know how many of you maybe used to watch Machinima's main channel. Okay? It was not the epitome of production values. It was not some high budget place. It was a bunch of shit. Basically just thrown at the channel. Random uploads every day. You know, chaotic stuff. Respawn, if you didn't know, was for gameplay. Respawn was supposed to be the channel where Let's Players and stuff threw up their gameplay, their review. That's what Respawn was for. Why would they want a comedy show about gamers or gaming on Respawn? It didn't even fit. It made absolutely no sense whatsoever to have the show on Respawn at all. Like, there was nothing to be gained by that. That wasn't the target audience for it. So what ended up happening was they refused to have the show on the main channel. They eventually put it on Respawn, and it tanked. No one cared. The show got like no views. It got like maybe 10,000 views an episode, if that. You know, on my main channel. All right. Oh, here we go. This is actually my response saying, I don't even understand what you mean when you're saying that it wouldn't fit the content of the main channel. Like, what are you talking about? Why don't you think that Project 7 wouldn't fit the content of the main Machinima channel? It doesn't make sense, because if you look at the content on that channel, that is the kind of content that's on the channel. It's edited, it's skits, it's edited stuff. It's your Respawn channel is your gameplay channel. So I don't even understand, you know, why that would happen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. But apparently, from what they were saying, it's because there's adult humor. Like, I mean, the episode where we're fighting, what is it? Gaseous Snake, and he's farting and we're swearing and everything. I guess they didn't like that. They wanted to be more family friendly, which I don't understand, because Machinima was not a family friendly channel in any way, shape, or form. But that was kind of their bullshit, right? Like, really, that was their, like, basically they were trying to find every excuse to not put Project 7 on the channel after they had already been very interested, okay, and said that basically it would be a good fit and it would promote the show. So it kind of sucked, because, you know, for me and John and Howard, and Respect the Pact, Project 7 was something we put a lot of time and effort into. It was. For me, I would say, for me, John, and Howard, probably not as much. For Respect the Pact, it was a lot of effort. They put a ton of time and effort, more than all of us combined, into that show. I was honestly hoping that eventually the show would get popular, it maybe by going on Machinima or something like that, because if it got an audience and we started making big money on it, then we could actually, you know, pay everyone for it, and then maybe we could actually be like something that is profitable, and we could put more time and effort into future episodes. And essentially the whole thing just, it died. That was one of the discussions we had when we were making the show, was, hey, how do we turn Project 7 into something bigger than just a show I'm running on DSP Gaming? And the answer was, hey, you know, I got Machinima contacts, right? And maybe that's something that that we can do that would make more sense, right? But now it's dead in the water. They don't want to do it anymore. And this was kind of the beginning of what I've noticed, some basically some situations here where I noticed that my relationship with Machinima was changing. At first, I was considered like one of the top upper echelon partners they had, and all of a sudden, it's like their attitude started to change towards me. And I didn't really understand what was going on or why, and they never told me why either, but there definitely was a distinct change, all right? Now, one of the biggest changes that happened was actually, I believe, in 2013. Let me double check that date, but I'm pretty sure it was 2013, because this was the first time that I experienced a major contract renegotiation. So allow me to tell you what that means. So up to that point, all of the content that I had made for Machinima, all right, and I was a Machinima partner, I was getting paid $2 per 1,000 views. Now, there was a bonus structure where sometimes I was getting paid more, but basically it was always $2 per 1,000 views. In early 2013, I was contacted. Actually, I think it was late 2012, and then it spilled over into early January 2013. And essentially, Machinima said, well, we screwed up. We recalculated, and we now realize that we are paying everyone way too much money, and we're bleeding money. And therefore, because of this, we need to renegotiate everyone's contracts. So we need to renegotiate yours for less money. All right? Okay. So how much less? Well, what they did is they did a calculation. And the calculation basically determined whether or not a channel was profitable enough to have the $2 per 1,000 view ratio or not. Now, at the time, I had multiple channels that were partnered with Machinima. I had DSP Gaming. That's the main channel where I did gameplay. I had a vlogging channel at the time, where it was just vlogs and that kind of stuff. And then I had the DSP Street Fighter channel, where I was doing all fighting game coverage, okay? In fact, the DSP Street Fighter channel wasn't even long running, maybe a year and a half, if that. You know, this is an idea that I had come up with in mid-2010. Here we are, it's like early 2013, so maybe 2 years it would have been running or something like that. So it wasn't a super long-running channel or anything like that, okay? So they contact me, and they say, we want to renegotiate your contracts based on statistics. Your statistics show that your DSP Gaming channel is making more than $2 in ads for every 1,000 views, so we want to keep you, you know, in a contract close. I want to say it was like they renegotiated it for like, I think what it was is the contract there was $225, and they renegotiated it down to $2, right? So instead of $225 per 1,000, it was now $2 per 1,000. Big deal. I'm taking a quarter hit. Big deal. Not a huge pay decrease, right? So I didn't really care about that. But the thing that they got me, they said, so we ran the numbers on DSP Street Fighter. And the numbers on DSP Street Fighter basically show that that channel is bringing in like $1.65 per 1,000 views. So we need to renegotiate your contract on DSP Street Fighter for that amount. So I wrote them an email. And I said, what on earth are you talking about? Because if I were to upload to DSP Street Fighter and you're saying I'm outright going to make less on a video there, why would I ever upload a video there? If you're saying any video I upload to DSP Gaming makes more money, $2 versus $1.65 per 1,000 views, why on earth would I upload ever to DSP Street Fighter? If that's the case, I'll close the channel or make it an archive, and I'll just start uploading everything back on DSP Gaming again. All right? So basically, I had to lie to my audience, because here's what I said to them. I said, what do you think that I should say to my audience of why I'm closing DSP Street Fighter, a channel that they love? But, I mean, I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot and make almost 25% less on the videos there just because you want to renegotiate the contract, and it makes no sense. So, here's what he says. Be honest, I don't think you need to mention anything to the fans concerning Street Fighter. We're certainly not going to mention anything. This is a private business matter that you conducted with Machinima. In short, there's nothing wrong with simply saying, instead of uploading gameplay videos to 2 channels, I've consolidated gameplay to 1 channel and will create a special playlist for fighting videos. In light of this, even if you decide to keep uploading fighting game videos, you don't need to mention anything. So essentially, they didn't want me to be honest with my audience and say Machinima is a fucking bunch of idiots. Because why on earth would I have kept DSP Street Fighter? Let's think about that. They were going to pay me less. I could just upload the exact same videos to the other channel and make more. Why would I upload it to the channel where I make less? They're morons. And when I confronted them with it, they basically said, well, just don't say anything to your audience then. So basically act like your audience is dumb and don't ever give them a reason they don't deserve to know. Like, seriously, what a moron. Right? Unbelievable. The way I actually left it was, I said, hey, the channel will always exist. In fact, here's another email. I said, the channel will always exist. So maybe in the future we could talk about bringing it back. To which they responded and they were like, yeah, maybe someday. Because that's what this says. Oh, maybe if there's beneficial things in the future or whatever. But essentially, if you're gonna renegotiate a contract, right? At least make it make sense. Why on earth would I have accepted the contract for less money on DSP Street Fighter? It didn't even make sense at all. All they should have just said was, we're just going to cancel the contract because it's not making enough money. Why would I have accepted it? But that's what I mean. Like, that's how the company was. It's like, who's running it over there? Who in their right mind would even come to me with this offer? This offer makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. It's ludicrously stupid. What you're telling me is dumb. But this is the beginning where I started to see the cracks with this company. You know, I thought originally this company was quite smart. And I started seeing really dumb behaviors out of this company that didn't seem to make much or any sense at all from any kind of a logic or financial perspective. It was just getting worse and worse year after year, as you're about to see, because now we're heading into the final hour here. And in this final hour, we're going to start talking about things such as, this is how you don't play, and their attitudes toward it. We're going to start talking about the false copyright strikes that I received against my channel, which ruined it. And we're also going to talk about the incident. Okay? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for chilling with me. Thanks for those who are still here on the stream. Thank you. Still got a great audience. I hope you guys are still enjoying. A lot of you are quite quiet in the chat, but I think it's because you're listening intently. You're enjoying the stories, right? I thank you for watching, and I hope that you're enjoying yourselves. We still got about another hour left on tonight's stream, where I'm going to finish up with these final round of stories, okay? But thank you for watching The Dark Side of Machinima. If you're watching this on demand on YouTube, what do you think about everything I just told you about Machinima? Does it sound good? Huh? Thumbs down for Machinima? Do you think that they were a good company? Did you possibly have relations with Machinima back in the day? Did you ever try to go to E3 under the umbrella of Machinima? Were you one of the people who got that other email about going to E3? How was your experience at E3 if you went there under Machinima? Was it different from mine? Like, you know what I mean? I'd love to hear. Please leave comments on these videos and let me know what you think. And remember, if you're enjoying yourself, please like the videos. Right now, people are definitely liking the stream. It'd be great if you could also like the videos on demand after the fact, okay? Thank you all. Part 3, the final part, coming right away. Thanks for watching.